Angola. Yo, what is up, guys? DPS podcast, which is damage per second podcast. We're doing it on a Tuesday. Before I tell you why we're doing it on a Tuesday, I do want to thank everybody that came through or is coming through for the show today. It's only a 1 week thing. We're going to go back to our Thursday after this week. But I do want to say hello to my co-host who is always out here playing video games, unlike a lot of people in this community that I know. And
oh man, slander early.
His name is Slow. His name is Slow-Mo Backslap, and best FPS shooter out here in the world. Slow-Mo. I'm giving you.
Don't be trying to put me in a category. I can't back.
Listen, man, I heard you better than BG. I heard you better than Hard 8. I heard you was on a level of all levels, especially when it comes to like games like Splitgate. I be seeing you out there with those 33 and 0 death games out there saying the matchmaking is trash because you playing against bots basically. Listen, I wasn't
playing against no bots now. Hold on now. I mean, I wouldn't even post it that if I was playing against
No,
bots.
I'm just saying that the way those games was turning out, it just feels like you're just that much better than these people.
Well, I would say this when it comes to Splitgate, there is a huge skill gap, and it's forming. And I love to see this with games because you start to see how a community is formed now that like a lot of people are playing the game and people are trying it out, and so now there aren't any more queues to get in because people have like. Splitgate's a quality game, but it's not going to be for everyone, So there's going to be people who are going to try it out and say, this game is cool, but I like COD more. This game is cool, but I like Destiny more. I like Halo more, so they'll go back to playing what their usual game is. But I think now Splitgate is getting its community together. But I also kind of feel like, and this happens for all first-person shooters, there comes a point in time where people... especially early on, and I'm actually making a video about this, and I'm gonna kind of like pitch it to you so you can see whether you think it's a good idea or not. But like, I'm making a video about why developers for multiplayer games deploy bots, and kind of to get people to understand what's happening, and not just first-person shooters, but games in general, because early on in games, they want you to feel comfortable. They want you to feel good, feel like you're good at the game already. Look at you. You're killing everybody because they're protecting you from the big bad wolves,
right?
From the veterans in the community, right? Now, I didn't get that kind of protection because when I started playing Splitgate, it was like literally less than 1,000 people concurrent playing the game at the time, back in June. So I was playing against the streamers, the guys that have like been streaming that game for 2 years. And I'm just like, oh, this guy's got the content streamer, content creator tag. And then I see why. Like he's portaling behind me in a millisecond, capping me in the back of the head. Right. So it's like, there is a point in time where you're playing against bots, you're playing against other newer players like yourself, and if you're good at first-person shooters, you're going to dominate. You're going to have like a 3 to 4.0 KD. You're just like, man, I'm amazing at this game. I love it. And then you hit level 15.
Right.
And the whole world comes crashing down on you. And then there are people out there who, if they can't dominate, then they don't want to play it.
Right.
And so there's gonna be people that leave. And so like that's where I think the game is at right now. I'm starting to see less like those games I get with 30 and 0. I was playing with my boy, and I think it was I know for certain there were 2 guys in there who had like level. They were like close to my level, but the other 2 guys were like brand new. Like it was work. It was, I mean, not work. It was food. They were food for me, basically. So like I think I'm at the level now where I'm not like,
you out here playing with your food really now, Slow-Mo.
Just a little bit, just pick it with it. But like I'm not at the level as like if you watch a Splitgate tournament and you see these guys portaling like crazy, like they never stop portaling, and
Right.
it's just like a bunch of night crawlers fighting each other with guns. I'm not
Yeah.
at that level at all. But if you put me up against some people they're just okay, they're just good, I'm eating good. Last night I'm playing by myself, and it's just like whatever lobby I was in, it was nothing but the sweats, and I was like, oh boy.
Oh boy.
one match, I'm like, cool, I got 17 kills, 10 deaths. Next match, 22 kills, 5 deaths. I'm feeling good. Next match, 9 kills, 11 deaths. I'm like,
Right.
what the hell happened? And I'm just like running into guys. I'm literally like, I come back to life. A dude is already portaled up to me and capped me with a shotgun. I'm like, damn, I just came back to life. Jeez, it's just like, but it's like, for me, I love that because it's like, it's a challenge. I see now, like, in order to keep consistently at the level that I was playing at, I gotta learn the maps a little bit better, and I gotta be a little bit quicker on the on the portaling, which I'm glad I got the elite controller now. On which, did we talk about that last week?
We
I
did.
think we talked about that last week.
Yeah, we talked about, because you said you was thinking about getting the Halo one, but you had just plopped down for the version 2 one that's already been out.
Yeah. So I remember I was telling you about, like, you were telling me about the paddles, right? So I mapped the portals for like opening and portal 1 and portal 2 to my paddles, which makes it so much easier. I'm not portaling as fast as dudes with mouse and keyboard, but I'm portaling pretty fast now. So it's cool. I'm portaling way faster than on a regular like Xbox control, by regular 360 controller where I was using the bumpers. So it's cool. It's cool. I mean, like, I know I'm really running my mouth about this stuff, but
Oh no, man! I opened up the gate.
I'm not no FPS god or anything. I'm okay. I'm okay. I want to be, like, I'm trying to be as humble as possible. I'm okay at first person shooters. I think I, as Enrique was like telling people, hey, this was hilarious. Actually, I had to tweet this out because I was playing Splitgate, and I was like on a nice little killing spree, and I'm listening to Enrique's rap rant last Sunday, and he's like, you guys should follow slow mo for first person shooters. He
did say that.
Really
put all that pressure on you.
Up. I just posted it because it was funny, because I'm sitting here just like killing everybody in Splitgate, and I'm listening to that. But it was I think I will say, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or anything. I think I have a good eye for like why some shooters are good or not, and so I think I'm gonna make a video on that in particular as well, just in regards to like multiplayer games, shooters, what are good ones and what are not good ones, which ones have longevity, that kind of stuff. I think that's going to be pretty be pretty insightful for people. So look, be on the lookout for that. I should have it out hopefully before this week is up, since I'm trying to focus in, because I haven't uploaded a video in a minute, and it's partly because when I have my free time, I end up just playing games or streaming myself playing games. So yeah, I gotta work on that. But I've been running my mouth, man. What have you been up to, man?
No,
what have you been playing?
No, yeah, definitely. Let me get these first. Mitchie Dies a Lot. Shout out to you. Came through from RDX. Appreciate you, brother.
Mitchie, what is up, man?
We got Spider in the house. What's up, brother? We got Jarrell up in the house. Shout out to you. Stone Cold King X. Shout out to you for coming through. The Sly Crow, what is going on with you, bro? We got Sammy up in this mug. Sammy Watt. Oh, I'm about to call him Watson. Walton, Sam Watson up in the house. Pappy, we got Pappy One Kenobi. Shout out to the FOF family.
I love that name. I love that name.
I love. He lives in Michigan with me, man. He is such a die. He is a genuinely lovable guy. Loves Star Wars. Loves everything about it. He's like one of the.
I can tell by the name. He loves Star Wars.
Yeah, he's one of the people that I really bonded with in my clan.
It's not better than Doom. It's not better than Doom, but I appreciate his. Let me stop. Let me stop because
Don't be
because I
slandering.
don't want,
Can't be
I don't want you
slandering
to get down
friends.
votes. I don't want you to get down
No.
votes tonight.
But shout out to him. He says, I accept it at my age. I'm a professional casual. There for my buzz and the laughs and the drinking of beer. Man, that's all that matters.
That's what it's all about, man. Look, I play games with. There are games that I literally have zero interest in. I've played Fortnite with my friends. I could so care less about Fortnite.
Right.
But hey, my friends want to play it. Sure, why not? Like I was before going to play Aliens Fireteam. Before I realized how good it was. We could probably talk about that in a little bit since we played that.
Have you played any more since we played?
No, I haven't played any more since then.
Yeah, we got to play some more.
That's because I'm addicted to Hades.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, we'll get to because I know you like on your 50th clear or something now, bro.
Oh no! I'm still only like at like 14 clears, but I've had like 52 runs. I'm actually paused on a run right now.
Oh my god!
I paused the game. I was playing it before we got live. I'm telling you, this game is so addictive. It's like a drug.
It took slow mo all this time to go play a game that's been available for over a year.
It's crystal meth in a video game. Oh yeah, I should have been playing this last year, man. It is crystal meth in a video game. It's so good, man.
Can you imagine playing it on the go? Like
laying
in your bed on the couch.
Not with Joy-Cons. Not with
Oh
Joy-Cons.
no! Use a pro controller.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could if I still had a Switch, but like I don't think
and you don't have to worry, and you don't have to worry about it being less than 1080p because it really isn't that demanding.
Yeah, it's exactly. Its art style doesn't
it's a good game
force
though,
it to be.
bro.
Yeah, it looks So I beat the game, right? You can't really beat Hades until you get 10 clears. So I got 10 clears. Well, this was my entire game plan. And shout out to everybody that was coming through on my streams that was helping me out. Rand, Erodimus, I'm forgetting people. Street Beat Journalist. So many people was coming through on the stream and just like, oh, like if you did this, that you could be more efficient, and helping me remember what the icons were and the symbols were, and so now I started to understand like which ones were better than others. But I finally got my first clear after maybe like 18, 19 attempts. I got my first clear, and that felt amazing, but that's not where you beat the game. You beat the game when you get 10 clears. So like every time you get a clear, this like it kind of progresses the story a little bit. And so you gotta keep doing it again. Once you get 10 clears, this is when you finally get like the roll credits. But there's an epilogue now. And I'm like, oh, so now like I had to look up like how do you get the epilogue? And because the story is really good. And I want to see what the epilogue happens in the epilogue. So I looked up what I need to do for the epilogue, and I'm doing that. They got this thing called Pact of Punishment. And so once you get to the point where you've got like your permanent improvements to your character, your Zachary's character has got it to the point where you can just easily make it to Hades with no problem with any weapon. Then you got the Pact of Punishment where you can add modifiers to make it harder. You want to make it so like all the bosses are harder. So like it'll have like, instead of just fighting Meg, one of the Furies, you'll fight like Meg with the other two Furies helping her. You'll fight Bone Hydra, but like Bone Hydra's area is like barely land and there's a lot of lava. And what was the other one with Theseus and the Minotaur? The Minotaur has all this body armor on, and Theseus has this chariot with chain guns on it. It's crazy. And so like I love how the story will be like, oh, you beat me before. This is like Theseus with the chariot. He's like, but I got to upgrade now, and it's just great, man. I really. I've been really enjoying the game, and I want to get that the epilogue. I really kind of feel like I won't uninstall this game. This is going to be a game that I'll end up like every now and then I'll just do a run. It could be like a year from now, and I'm just like I just feel like playing Hades. So I just feel like it'll always be installed. I still have it through Game Pass, but I'm going to buy it on Steam. So I have always have it because I know it's going to leave Game Pass at some point. You got about to say you got it because I was saying the screen
Yeah,
needed
it
to be
was too
fixed.
small.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, man,
um,
you having a ball. I love how I gave you a compliment and it literally turned into a 20-minute conversation about how dominant you are. That you keep saying, oh, I'm not that dominant, but you are
I'm
that
not.
dominant.
I'm not,
You
man.
pretty good, bro.
I'm just a regular gamer. I'm just a regular guy, just enjoying my games. Road Company. Shout out to Elder Cat, the homie Elder Cat. I need to get like I don't know if Arcade's listening or not, but we need to get back with Arcade and Vic, the homie Vic, because we need to squad up, man. I be playing Road Company, man, and I be solo, and my teammates be so dumb. I mean, just like, oh, I know I've been headshot 5 times coming around this corner, and they're all just waiting for me. Let me go do it again, kind of dumb. And it's just like,
Right.
bruh, what are you doing? I need people who can think.
What's that people can think?
I need
No.
people who got 2 brain cells, at least 2 brain cells that are still fully functioning to
Right.
help me out. Cause I be losing matches, Forte. I'll have like 30 downs, 40 eliminations, loss, 3-1. It's like, and my teammates would be like a combined like 10 downs. It has no sense. It makes no sense. Aram is asking me, chat, have you played with the handicaps yet? Yeah. That's what I've been doing. That's what I was talking about, the pact of punishment for Hades. The handicaps are cool. I've played with the one where it gives you, I think it's 25% more enemies in each encounter. I've played the current one I'm doing right now that I got paused is what was it? It was the one where it takes away some of your boons. So like let's say if you clear an encounter and you get the choice of 3 boons from a god, they take one away. And I hate how it even shows you the one they took away, because for me it always seems to be the best one out of the bunch that I would have picked. So yeah. Rodman says that's caps level. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what cap.
He told me he just Slomo's being very modest right now, y'all. That's all.
I'm just a regular guy. I'm a regular gamer,
just
man.
a regular
It's no big
guy.
deal.
Just a regular guy.
You know, that's going to be my name.
That's your new slogan.
And Road Company. No, it's gonna be my name in games now. Just a regular guy, just a guy. That's gonna be my name. I really
wonder if you and BG played each other, what would happen?
Well, I'll tell you right now, BG is a beast in Road Company. Like he has max level in Road Company. I didn't even know that was possible, but apparently 500 is the max level that you can get to. He's already up there. And whenever BG's on and I'm on, I think they got not necessarily skill-based matchmaking on, but it's more like something like if you are a certain level, then you play with people who are at that level. So like I'm at like 185. So there aren't too many people in Road Company up at that level. So like whenever he's on and I'm on, we end up matching up against each other. Every single time BG is destroying. Every single time. He's in Road Company, he's definitely better than me. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, outside of that, man, you just been playing a bunch of stuff. I really haven't played that much over the last couple of days. It's like I've been playing Destiny. That's pretty much the only thing. But then I've been coming home for the last 2 days and just going to sleep. It was like, you ever get that feeling like you just get off work and you come home and you want to accomplish so much stuff, and then your body tells you that's not going to happen today. That happened to me 2 days in a row. It happened to me on Sunday. Got off work at 7:00, came home, caught myself going upstairs just to sit in my bed for like 20 minutes. Next thing I know, it was 1:00 in the morning. And I was like, yep, that's it for tonight. And then same thing happened yesterday. I got up, I was watching Netflix, laying in the bed, watching the show. I was watching All American, a show that's on Netflix. And I was saying, I'm gonna finish watching this episode, and I'm gonna get up and go downstairs because I wanted to do some grinding on my characters, and I wanted to play some I wanted to play some Splitgate because I had re-downloaded it on my Xbox. I said, well, I'll jump on Splitgate, see what it's all about right now. Because the new season 0 came out. And I was like, this is the best time to get into it. So I was gonna do that. And then next thing I know, 1:30 in the morning. And that's when I woke up. And then I looked at the clock. I was like,
you fell asleep.
Oh, I fell asleep again. So today, instead of, because what I did on Sunday, I got up and I didn't really go downstairs to play the game. I just got up and went downstairs and like sat at the TV and watched it for like a good hour and a half before I went back to sleep. Yesterday, I said, you know what? It's reset. Taking my butt to bed. I woke up, stayed up for like 20 minutes, because you can't go right back to sleep when you just wake up. Then I looked at the clock and I was like, okay, it's 2:00 in the morning, going back to bed. Slept to about 11. Then I got up and played a little bit of Hades this morning, played some Splitgate this morning. And then that's when I was trying to figure out about the show. I guess I'll say it now. So the reason we're doing the show today is because my wife, it's been an unfortunate last year and a half, especially with my wife and family and friends and stuff. And her best friend of like since high school passed away earlier this year. And we just found out that her brother passed away 3 days ago.
Wow.
So, how do you tell, she's really close with
your wife's brother or
my wife's best friend's
brother?
Yeah. So her best friend passed away probably a month and a half ago. Then her brother just passed away 2 days ago. So
that's gotta be tough for the family.
Yeah. So she's like really close to the mom, and they're down in Alabama. So at that point, it's like if my wife say she wants to go to Alabama, let's go to Alabama. And so the funeral's on Friday, and I'm literally going to leave work and come home and get right on the freeway and drive. And that's a 12-hour drive. So that's why it's no DPS this weekend or this Thursday. So, and I didn't want to be without a show this week, especially if we could do it. That's why I asked Slow-Mo before we did. It's like, hey, you down to do it today? And as always, Slow-Mo always comes through in the clutch, no matter what. And that's why we're doing it today. But no, outside of that, man, it's just been a bunch of Destiny, a little bit of Hades. And then, I guess we could talk about that before we get into it. Let's talk about that Alien Fire Team, man. We did a stream on it 2 weeks ago, and it was fun, bro. Really fun. The aliens get on my nerves a little bit, but it was fun. What did you think of the experience of playing it? And do you think it's something that you would stick to, or do you think it's something you just pretty much casually do when people want to play it with you?
It's a little bit mix of two. I don't know if it's something I'm going to continue to play like solo kind of thing, because there's just so much to play right now that I don't have the bandwidth to play Aliens Fire Team more than just like say playing it with you or playing it with people that I know are ready to play it.
Right.
But I like the way it plays. It's really fun. It reminds me so much of the Aliens movie, which is a huge compliment because that movie's like one of my favorite movies of all time. It gives me a lot of vibes of like World War Z and World War Z and Left 4 Dead. And here's why. That got somebody said worth buying. I would say absolutely. It's not a full price game. It's $40. I think it's appropriately priced. Visually, it's like it's good in some areas. In some areas, you're like, right. So I feel like the character models are good. Like visually, the character models are good. But what's kind of iffy sometimes is like the alien models. The aliens and how they move seems like they need some work. And explosions. Good grief. Explosions look like an N64 explosion. But Nintendo 64 level kind of explosion. And I'm not even exaggerating. Like go look at my stream or go look at Forte's stream.
We got it up on the screen now.
Yeah, it is. I still see Destiny now.
Oh, it's about to switch over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's oh my God, it's bad. But what I do love about it is that like the gun sound effects, like the way the guns sound in the movie is accurate to how the guns sound in this game. And I really appreciate that level of being like authentic to the source material, so to speak. I thought that was cool. I like how when I say it's like Left 4 Dead where you really need your teammates. and you really need to back your teammates up, use your abilities, have a balanced team. Forte was playing the medic, I was playing the gunner. There were times where I was like, I'm about to go down, and Forte would pop the little the medic bubble where it would heal, and I'm just like, oh, that was right on time. And whenever we would get like overwhelmed with a bunch of the xenomorphs, I would hit my special, which would like it did a lot
Overcharge.
of stuff. It was like overcharge. It would give us like more information on the xenomorphs, where to hit them, like critical hits. I think it did more damage
It
as
did.
well as
It did increase
increased
damage.
accuracy. So it was great, but it's like a little limited time thing. But it was cool. It also is like World War Z, where you see like the different stages. So at World War Z, you'll have a mission, and it'll be stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and you would complete a stage, and then you would have a chance for a break, and then complete the next leg. It's like that. It's designed that way in its missions, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun if you got some friends that want to play something together. I think it's a good game to play. I already told the homies, I was like, look, y'all need to pick this up. And me and Forte are already like been talking about, we were going to play again this week, but with everything that came up with your family and stuff, it's a no-go for now. But we definitely got to do it when you get
Oh yeah,
back into it.
we plan on doing a whole campaign a day until we beat it, because there's 4 of them, and they're not
Yeah.
short. They're like the Gears of War acts and stuff, like where there's 3 or 4 separate chapters inside of a whole campaign. That takes place in like different areas of the game and stuff, which I didn't expect it. I expected it to be kind of like this beginning, middle, and end. They actually break it up into a bunch of different sub areas that you play in, and I actually think that's really, really cool. So it kind of changes up the dynamic enough. So we definitely got to finish that. But moving on to the first, yeah, go ahead. You got something to say?
I would say I think it has a lot of, even though some people may think like, oh, it's only 4 missions, I think it has a lot of replayability, because you have, I think is it 4 different classes?
Uh, 5.
5. Okay. You level up each class. So I'm at like level 2 or 3 with Gunner, but I haven't touched the other classes yet. So that's why I was saying it's kind of like World War Z, because World War Z will allow you to kind of level up a particular class too, and then
Yeah,
but like
exactly.
the other classes haven't been leveled up yet. So like there's like the replayability, even though it's only like 4, even though they're very, very long missions, they're only 4 missions, but you could switch to a different character and then level that character up. So if you're really enjoying the gameplay, it's not going to feel stale, because you're still doing something with it that's new and different, and then trying to create like a build or or a different the perfect loadout for that class. So I think it's really worth it.
Right. Nope, I agree. So let's
Ooh, okay, one more thing.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Smitty says, how does it feel solo? Now, this is something that I
Whew.
noticed when we played. We couldn't get anyone else to play with us.
Yeah.
So we kept trying to, like, we would do matchmaking, and then nobody would join. And so then we would end up getting one of the androids that's in like the Aliens universe. And which is, I'm glad that's canon, but that the AI on that android, good grief, we were constantly going beta stop, beta no, like just running out in the middle of xenomorphs, getting dropped, running. I think what's that? He said he was just running into the wall
Yeah.
or something like that. It's just like the
His name
AI
was
is really
Beta.
bad. Yeah, his name's Beta. You can see it on screen, Beta. And the problem with Beta, even though he will like actually aim at at the aliens and shoot them, is that the AI isn't that great. It's nowhere close to being a human, which we all would expect. But if the matchmaking is a problem, I don't know how, if you're playing solo, how good the matchmaking is in matching you up with people who are trying to play the game, and make it so you're not just your Marine playing with like 2 betas, because that would be a big problem if you're the one that's doing all of the work, and you don't have any real backup, and your betas or running up against the wall or running out of cover and just getting murdered and needs you to pick them up. That's a problem. So hopefully they got that fixed out, and maybe that was just an issue at that time. Slackrow wants to know, can you customize the loadouts? And yes, you can.
Yes,
you can customize your loadout. Yeah, it's very much like you get guns, you look at the levels of the guns, choose which one works best for you. I think shotguns are OP. I was rolling with the shotgun for the majority of the time. But it's that's the way it works, man. It's pretty cool.
Shotguns keep the peace in this game. It's like it's literally the peacekeeper. You got to show it off to the aliens as much as you can.
Man, I was one hitter quitting. Like, the regular xenomorphs was all getting taken one shot, and it was a rat. And then I was really eating into the health of the specials, the special ones,
which are really which are very, very diverse. And one of them was getting on my nerves because he was like, matter of fact, is this him? Is this him? Is he about to run up on? Yeah, he literally runs up on you and runs away. It is him. Yeah. What was his name? Meg or something?
They had named the xenomorph like Linda or something like that. I was just like, why the heck did they name the xenomorph a regular name like
it's
that?
Megan. She's coming for me. So
and then
crazy.
she would run away. She would get hurt, and then she would run away, and then you would see her later on. She would like ambush us or something.
Right.
It was pretty smart. Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy, but So, Rodimus with the Rodimus says the problem with today's issue is the fact that we're getting a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot.
Oh my god!
So I saw your tweet. I saw your tweet, Slow Mo. I'm gonna let you talk about that real quick before we get into the Starfield topic.
Okay, I look. This is all I know. This is all I know is that they have cast some kid named Jabari Banks to play Will Smith's character, the Fresh Prince, in a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air drama reboot. So not only are you rebooting a classic show,
but they're making it a drama.
You're making it a drama? Like, can y'all just leave stuff alone? Leave stuff that is a classic. I can't take it. And look, and that's no shade to this kid. I'm sure he's just trying to get a career. He got cast for this role. Actors, they want to get as many roles as possible to get out there and show their talent. But I feel bad for him because I feel like he's going to get the brunt of a lot of hate and criticism over something that's really out of his control. Like this whole thing should not have been created. It's an abomination. I know I haven't even seen it yet. I'm calling it an abomination because you shouldn't take classic shows like this and reboot
like
them.
That's like them trying to reboot Martin.
I was just thinking the same thing. Imagine rebooting Martin, but not with Martin. Just some actor who's not even, you don't even know if they're funny or not. It's just like, yo, what is happening?
When I saw your tweet on it, I was like, they're doing what?
Who are you going to get to cast for Uncle Phil?
I was thinking the same thing. Rest in peace.
I'm gonna be mad because, like, how dare you? How dare you recast Uncle Phil? Rest in peace, Uncle Phil. No, absolutely not. I can't take it. I look.
I agree. It's one of those things that shouldn't be touched. Just let that create something new. Don't try to bring something back that, especially they just did they did the reunion episodes and stuff. So it's like, why bring in, why do it? Why do it at all? It just makes no sense to me. Shout out to Stokey X with the $25 super chat.
Oh, that's what's up.
That's what I'm talking about. He said there was a 4 gig and 5 gig update for Aliens Fireteam Elite to deal with the matchmaking. I beat the game.
Awesome.
Max rank, Demolitioner, and combat level 609. Willing to play with anybody. Ooh. My name is my gamer tag. Listen.
Stone King, we gotta squad up.
Yeah,
man.
I was saying, we have to squad up with you, man. Just matter of fact, both our gamer tags are what you see on the screen right now, exactly how you see it. So if you want, just jump on Xbox or Steam. Oh, actually, we're playing on Xbox, so yeah, jump on Xbox if you're on that, and add us. And when we do it, we'll definitely invite you in to do it with us.
I wish the game had crossplay. I really do.
It should have had crossplay, and I think it should have had it.
I would have preferred to play it on my superior PC. You know,
I would have
my PC that's superior to any of the consoles. That PC.
I know you would. I know you would. And then shout out to Game Over Brian with the $10 super chat.
Oh, here we go.
Guys, I have a question for you. Is there anything I have 2 questions for you. Is there anything to be worried about with the PS5 heatsink drama? And the second question, when upgrading Ghost of Tsushima, do trophies pop automatically? Listen, all right. So as you can see, the last topic is about the PlayStation redesign and will it overheat? So I'm gonna have to make you wait for that one. But for that second question, absolutely, sir. As soon as you do that mind-numbing upgrade and make them move all your saves and stuff over, guess what? You will be the happy owner of brand new trophies on your PS5, and that is, and you can take that and that's money in the bank. So I appreciate you, Game Over Brian.
Shout out to him, man. That's a funny dude. I haven't touched Sticky Icky Island yet, man. I need to get into that. I actually haven't played anything on PlayStation in a few weeks now. I've been just really outside of playing Aliens Fireteam on Xbox, and that's it on Xbox. I did play
Hades. You play Hades on the Game Pass Xbox, right? Or are you playing on Steam?
Game Pass PC. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, Game PC. No, let me ask you this. So I know you are a stickler for Game Pass on PC because you said it doesn't perform well. How has your experience been with Hades
been the best
there?
performing game? 12 minutes wasn't bad either. I didn't have any issues with 12 minutes either. But Hades has been perfect on Game Pass PC, which is I'm shocked because most games on Game Pass PC are kind of perform the way we've been seeing the issues with the Ascent on the Microsoft Store, where the version that came out at launch for the Ascent was an older build. It did have ray tracing, but it didn't have DLSS. You see DLSS in the menu, but it's grayed out. And I think they came out with an update like maybe a week or 2 after launch with that. But Steam had DLSS at launch, and there was all kinds of performance issues. Like I was routinely playing. I was playing at 1440p ultra settings at mostly around 120 frames per second, and actually probably more around 144 frames per second. But then I would get these weird drops to like 100 frames, and then it would go back up, but to lose 40 frames in like a second is very jarring. You notice it immediately. And it was just like, I know they came out with updates saying they fixed those performance issues, but that's typically how games launch on the Microsoft Store on PC, and they usually aren't fixed as quickly as the developer fixed the issues with the Ascent. So that's just the weird thing about it. But Hades has got like no issues whatsoever. It's been perfect. I'm really loving it.
Cool.
Shout out to Dirt Gritty Dut. Got Dut in the house. He says, "What's up, fellas? What's going on, man? Hope you're having a good evening, sir."
Yeah, enjoying that premiere podcast you got over there, man. Keep up the good work that you guys are doing over there. Really appreciate that.
Amazing production values for We Bleed Green. I mean, they got all kinds of skits and joking gifs and everything. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, definitely. So let's get into these topics. There, like I said, probably won't be that long because there wasn't really that much stuff going on, but we had to reaffirm a lot of the stuff.
We've been talking for 45 minutes before we even got into a topic.
So to just let you kind of know how your boy Forte and Slow-Mo can still have really good conversations on a dead week. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about this Starfield stuff, man. First of all, P. Hines came out.
Did it in Anthem. Did.
So there's been more conversation around Starfield not being an exclusive game. And it's mostly due to some statements that P. Hines came out and talked about recently on a blog post where he was talking about how a lot of the games that are mostly just Xbox branded, like they call them Xbox things basically. But he also talked about how they never said that all games would never see a PlayStation platform. And a lot of people are basically taking that conversation and moving it over to Starfield having a chance at some point in the future. It's exclusive now, but being a chance to be over on the PlayStation platform maybe in the near future, even knowing this was very much talked about during the Bethesda and Xbox roundtable. But, you know, let's give some context to the situation. This is what Pete Hines had to say. He says there are Xbox brands that exist on other platforms first and foremost. I think that important though is Minecraft did not stop existing on anything once Mojang was bought by Xbox. It's a massively played game by all of these other platforms. It's not I'm sorry you're not going to be able to play anything by Bethesda again. Certainly there's going to be things that you're not going to be able to play on PlayStation. He also iterated that they announced that this game is an Xbox exclusive and that they suggest that the door isn't closed on this game being something that could come to other platforms. And that's basically what they're basically hinting at by saying that, yo, it's still Xbox exclusive, but we never said that our games would never come to PlayStation, but there will be games that won't be able to play on the PlayStation. So Slow-Mo, once again, will you please reaffirm what Uncle Phil or Phil Dominus or Phil, you know, we'll call him Phil Spencer. We'll call him every. Well, we're giving love to the Iron Lords right now. Shout out to one of the best gaming podcasts out there. But what?
Very true, though. Very true.
Why won't you reaffirm to these people exactly what's going on with Starfield?
Starfield is not going to PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 or any PlayStation. Period. You're not getting. You want to play Starfield, and I know that. I know the immediate response for some of these guys is, "We don't want to play Starfield." But y'all keep talking about it. I don't understand. You don't want to play it, but y'all keep talking about it. Maybe it's not you, but y'all act like y'all don't see these people on your timeline. You know, coming up with scenarios. What if? I'm gonna make a poll. What if in 2024? Starfield showed up on play. No, there's no the fourth option in your poll should be it ain't coming. So like forget the other options. It's not coming. You're not getting Starfield on PlayStation. If you want to play that game, if you are a Bethesda fan and you're upset about this, I think you should do one or two things. One of three things. But the first step of all this is to get over it. That's the first thing. It's not changing. They got acquired by Xbox. It's over. Okay. So once you realize this, the next step is buy an Xbox. Maybe you don't want to buy an Xbox. Maybe you feel some kind of way about owning an Xbox. Maybe it makes you feel icky. Maybe you're allergic to Xbox. You buy it, you break out in hives. If that's you, build or buy a pre-built PC. Now you don't have to have, you know, the hive issue with owning an Xbox, and you can still play these games. And you could probably, because it's a Bethesda game, you would get the chance to take care of, enjoy those free mods for their games that they force console players to pay for.
Right.
So those are your options. Now, when it comes to how they have been speaking about games coming to PlayStation, this is what they're talking about. They just, I think at QuakeCon or something, I think that was just recently. I think they had QuakeCon around Gamescom, right?
Yep, it was recently, like 2-3 days ago.
Okay, so QuakeCon, they announced they came out with like a Skyrim remaster of the remaster Inception or something like that, right?
A game that will never die.
Yeah. Seriously. And there's a remaster to another game, right? So these games are going to be on PlayStation. These are legacy titles, right? So like if they decide to bring back Oblivion or Morrowind, this is a game. These are, well, I think Morrowind never was only on the Xbox, I believe, but Oblivion was on PlayStation. So let's take Oblivion for example. If they decide to bring back Oblivion and make a remaster of that, then that probably will show up on PlayStation 5 because that's a game that was on PlayStation 5 before. But Elder Scrolls 6, like, even though this is a IP that has a long history, Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever Elder Scrolls, whatever, island or whatever in that world they want to name it, Dragon Booty. There we go. Elder Scrolls Dragon Booty, okay? Elder Scrolls Dragon Booty isn't going on PlayStation. Starfield isn't going on PlayStation. Potentially Indiana Jones might go on PlayStation because we don't know when that deal was made. We don't know if it was pre the acquisition, post the acquisition. You never know, right? And if it was pre the acquisition, more than likely they would have made it this deal with Lucasfilms and Disney that have it on all platforms because that's before this was a multi-platform publisher. So, that would track. So this is why they won't outright say you're never going to get a Bethesda developed or published game on PlayStation ever again, because this is just simply not true. There are going to be legacy games or games where they have a contractual obligation to put that game on PlayStation. And they absolutely would never say none of Bethesda games will ever go to PlayStation, or Starfield will absolutely never in the future go to PlayStation, because we've said this multiple times, but I think people still don't get it.
Right.
Game Pass is the platform. It's not Xbox console, it's not PC, it's not xCloud, it's Game Pass. And the more places they can put Game Pass, the better. And so they're trying to get Game Pass on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation. Neither of those companies want Game Pass on there. And most likely, the only one who may do something like that is Nintendo, which I doubt, right? But Sony definitely ain't really trying to do that. But if that's their hope, then they're not going to tell you you're never going to get Starfield on PlayStation. They're just going to say this game right now is a true exclusive to Xbox and PC and xCloud, and that's it. Because maybe one day, let's say like in 3-4 years from now, they can get Sony to agree to have Game Pass on PlayStation, then you're absolutely going to get Starfield on that platform at that point. I feel like I've covered every corner of this topic, right?
Yeah, I think you have. I think Dark Society says it's 7 steps of grief right now, and people just keep reliving the scenario that this game is coming over to PlayStation at some point. And let's be for real, sometimes Xbox needs to be even more clear with their messaging. I think the biggest thing that kind of put a lot of people in kind of a tizzy when it came to this is where he says Starfield is announced as a thing that it's Xbox exclusive. I don't know if I would go as far to say you're done playing stuff on PlayStation when it comes to Bethesda, but then again, I don't know the answer to that right now. So I think there's two different things that P. Hines is saying in that conversation. He's basically telling you Xbox exclusive for Starfield. That is a thing. But it also goes back to the whole legacy thing. But they're also not ruling out games in the future coming to PlayStation. Now, they already said, when they say exclusive for Starfield, that means Starfield is exclusive. That doesn't change the fact that some games in the future that are part of, like you said, a legacy input, doesn't mean those games can't come out. Games like Skyrim, the remaster or the remake or whatever they're going to call this, the 30th anniversary of Starfield, not Starfield, of Elder Scrolls Skyrim, when they finally do release that one before Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, that is probably what they consider a legacy title, and they're not going to take that away from PlayStation people because it's already available over there. That's why he's saying that they can't say that games in the future won't come to the platform. But the difference is, they done already told you where this game is available to be played. And man, Eric Greenberg loved doing this, because I swear to God, he takes to Twitter as soon as he wants to reaffirm and he feels like he has to. And shout out to him, because he's doing a great job as being part of the marketing team and the management of that. But he came out yesterday on Twitter and said Starfield will be launching exclusively on Xbox Series X and S and PC on November 11th, 2022. Game Pass members can play it day one, as well as on Xbox and PC. We have said this all before, and none of that has changed, and it will, and neither will it. He's basically telling you he's coming out. Listen, he took his he literally sat down on the weight bench and said, put as much weight on this as you possibly want, and I'm gonna flex this thing, because he is talking from a position of strength. We already know Xbox isn't. They have been really gun shy on talking on stuff that they're not 100% certain on. That's why we probably haven't seen the single player for Halo Infinite yet, because it's not ready to be shown. But they'll show you 50 minutes of Forza 5 gameplay, which at this point you almost probably seen 90% of the game. But they're willing to show you that because they're confident in that. So he came out and said this, and said it will not change, and neither will it change, lets you know that when it pertains to Starfield, that is definitely going to be something that is set in stone. And if you want to play that game, you got to go somewhere else. But we should have, this should have been already clarified when Phil Spencer and then, the lovely Sarah Banks came out there and talked about it too, and said, and it will be exclusive. Not just one person. Did I say Banks? Oh, Lord.
Yeah. I was like, Sarah
Bond. Oh, there is a Sarah Banks out there. Shout out!
I'm sure. I'm sure there are plenty of Sarah Banks out there.
Shout out to the other Sarah Banks out there, Sarah Bond. The future head of Xbox. I may add. I do believe that wholeheartedly with the direction they're going in. But
well, I mean that's definitely a possibility.
That's definitely a possibility if Phil Spencer ever decides to hang up.
Look, we're not trying to push Phil out.
No, Phil. No, we love Phil.
We'll retire so we can get Sarah up in here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We want Phil to stick around as long as possible, because he's a true gamer and we love that about him. I do got a $5 super chat from Moradimus. He says,
he's being messy,
question for Slow-Mo. How can you on Spaces lecture someone on not cussing and calling names on Spaces, because cussing and calling the name
by cussing and
calling the name them in the name in the same space? Like, Slow-Mo, listen, first of all, we all know somebody must have said something really messed up to you in one of these spaces for you to go off on them.
I didn't go off on anybody. Look, you would be very proud of me. I was the mature one in the room. Okay. I was trying to keep.
Whose spaces
peace.
Was this?
This was Optimus Code Space, our homie Optimus. So Optimus. there was a Twitter space, and in this Twitter space, it was about I have no idea what it was about. I don't know.
He does a space every week, so who knows?
Right. I showed up just to listen, and I heard what I'll tell you what the topics were. The topics were people talking about games, but they refused to show their gamer score / trophies.
Mm-hmm.
So people are like, well, how can you speak on a game when we can't even verify and check that you actually played said game? And why would you have a problem with actually showing that? Now, I jumped in then because I wanted to talk about how I keep seeing that. I keep seeing people who are willing, and you remember this, there was a dude that showed up to Scumcast that we were on, and shout out to the Ash and Luca, and I'm not gonna say his name, but this dude in the show, out of anger, revealed his name and had previously already revealed where he lived. So you have pretty much told people, complete strangers out there in the world, what your full name is and where you, the city and state that you live in, but you couldn't tell us your Steam profile? Like, he got mad that he wouldn't show us his Steam profile. And I mean, that we asked for his Steam profile and he wouldn't show it. It made no sense. So I went in there to bring up that example and how, like, I think people should be transparent. You know, the same way that we would like someone to who reviews a movie to actually have watched the movie that they're doing a review of. We would like people who have opinions on games to actually have played the game that they had all of these grand and you know, long-winded opinions on. And then it turned into something else. So apparently, unbeknownst to me, there was a Twitter space yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And this Twitter space, I think it was about diversity in the gaming. It was a 4-hour Twitter space.
Oh, shit.
I don't know how you can talk for 4 hours in the Twitter space. First of all, Twitter spaces are so unstable that I have no idea how it didn't crash. So kudos to Twitter for actually having a Twitter space up for 4 hours for once, right? Because they usually crash, I think, in like an hour or so. But anyway, at some point there's a clip out there about a guy has said something that was deemed to be, and I haven't seen it, so I'm not saying he did say the way people said he said it, but it was interpreted by others to sound racist against the Japanese. And so he was there to state his case, and other people were there. And long story short, it got real messy. It went kind of left. And I'm just there trying to keep the peace. But I mean, like, I'll say this just real quick, and we can get back on topic. If you are a professional that works in the gaming industry, or you work for a company that is a prominent company within the gaming industry, or just a prominent company, period, just because you're on your personal Twitter account or your personal account in social media does not mean that there may not be blowback for the things that you may say and things that you may do out there in the internet, in the world. Okay, so like, if someone makes you angry, cussing them out and calling them clowns and all this other stuff, you might have to be called the carpet for that, especially when within moments after that, you're talking about where you work. And so that's very problematic. And I said this to the gentleman that was in there. I said, look, you've told us where you work. I'm fairly certain that company does not want that kind of image attached to them and their employees. So you need to do better when it comes into these discussions or debates. Just because, like, if someone gets you angry and gets you in your feelings, you need to step away instead of actually saying the kind of things that you said. And in regards to the whole diversity thing, I'll finish with this and we can move on. Just getting people like Sarah Bond or Paris Lily in positions where we see them in the video game community is all that's well and good, but that's not where the real battle is.
Yeah.
The real battle is the microaggressions. It's actually creating a different culture where it's acceptable to not be the majority in these environments, in these corporate environments. I have worked in the corporate environment ever since I've been out of college, but I can speak to the fact that I have been the first black male in my office and dealt with some comments, dealt with some unfair accusations and characterizations. And I feel like the fact that I did not back down and I also didn't allow myself to become unprofessional in the midst of my anger, but I didn't back down and accept it either. I allowed for, in the future, now half the office are minorities.
Right.
And they don't have to deal with what I dealt with. I think that's important, that when we see, say, for example, the young man that worked at Mixer, heard his Asian boss make a slavery joke,
Yeah.
called her out, and she told him, "You're being sensitive. You'll never get anywhere being this sensitive." And the fact that he had to quit his job, expose her on social media, and the actual only end result was that Mixer got shut down 2 months earlier and she still kept her job. That is unacceptable. That's the kind of stuff that we're talking about, that you just can't, like, that stuff can't stand anymore. That's the kind of, it's not about getting the job, because for them, they get diversity points for just hiring you. It's changing what's happening when the cameras aren't rolling and the press isn't there, and they can't use you as a talking point about, hey, well, we got, we have minorities. Look at Forte over here. Look, we hired Forte. Look at him. He's black.
Right.
So when the press isn't there anymore and Forte is trying to get his work done and people are not treating him the same way as his co-workers, that's where the battle is. And I think that is being lost in these kind of discussions. And it's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate that discussion went the way it did, instead of actually speaking towards the kind of stuff where people get a full understanding of what's really happening and what should happen in the future. And I know I'm being super long-winded today. I'm sorry.
You're good. No. I always respect your, conversation that you have around stuff like this, because I know a lot of people don't want to have that conversation, and they feel like it's inappropriate to have it in certain venues and stuff. But if you always holding and bottling it up, you never get that type of stuff off your chest. And I definitely agree. I didn't hear this Spaces. I probably was at work, and normally I'm not. Normally I try to check Twitter just to see if they're live, just so I can just, because it's like something real easy just to sit in and listen to while you're just doing just mundane stuff that you do every day. But no, but I agree. I agree with that. And I can definitely tell you that Slow-Mo probably did get a little animated, because he definitely does if he's very passionate about something.
No, I was I'm telling you, like, I was extremely calm. I didn't call nobody no MFers. There was zero cussing. There was zero slander thrown anyone's way. At least not from me.
Well,
there's a lot of slander
right. There's a lot of slander. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. A lot of people probably just talking about the language in general that people were using, and outside of just you, and you were there. But no, I agree. I just think that people don't know how to have a genuine conversation without it devolving into something like that. That's kind of a society problem, not just a certain person problem. That's everywhere. But in general, it's always good just to have those conversations. And it sounds like you definitely got your point across. Now, the thing's going to happen. What's going to really happen is anybody really going to truly listen to that? Is people going to really engage with that in a meaningful way to actually direct a little bit of social change and equality when it comes around to that stuff? But only time will tell in that. But did you have anything else you wanted to add to this Starfield conversation?
No. I only thing else I want to add is that I hope we never have to talk about this again.
Oh, when this game come out? Next year.
I never look. If you want to talk about, hey, this is what Starfield looks like, or this is the kind of game Starfield is, or whatever. Like, here's more about the updated creation engine.
Yeah, creation engine. This
is the update creation engine. I am all for that. I never want to hear this conversation about whether it's exclusive or not ever again. I do not care any further, especially considering I'm not even a Bethesda fan. At least not of the developed in-house Bethesda Game Studios games. They do not appeal to me whatsoever. So, like, the entire discussion has always kind of been like blah to me. But
yeah, kind of couple people talk about it in the chat. Around them it says blacks in IT are very few and far between. What just happened says the real battle for me is in my head. I'm going to tell you what no one wants you to know in front of those lines. Not even me. Then Burke says, remind me of when we're gonna just leave Trump's name out of this today. Jarrell says, no, Slow-Mo was calm and got his point across very well. And I believe that. And, you know, around him says, I hate to say it, but as a black man that is connected to the Asian community by marriage, you will find hate everywhere. And
that's also very true.
Yep. And then one more. Then what just happened just says no one wants to have that conversation, but I'm a grown man, so I was able to. And yeah, it's just like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on around that, and it's always good to have that conversation if you're mature enough to have it in a more healthy way, not be serious about it and stuff. But let's move over.
Right.
Let's move over to Dead Space, and I know this is a game that you're super excited to play.
No,
yes, you are.
that's a joke, right?
Yes, you are.
That's a joke, right?
Yes, you are.
Look, man,
yes, you
I don't
are.
be playing these scary games where y'all. I don't know what the appeal is. Why do y'all want to be scared half to death? Why do y'all want jump scares where you drop the controller and you get killed and the dude's face transforms in front of you and freaks you out? I don't get it. I don't play these kind of games. I don't look. I more power to y'all. Yeah. People love Dead Space. Say it's a impressive quality horror suspense, whatever you want to call it, game, psychological horror. Hey, I agree. I 1000% agree with you guys. With zero actual personal experience, I'll take your word for it because I ain't playing it. But I mean, I saw some screenshots on Twitter that showed the differences between the original and the remake, and I mean, it looked really impressive. I do want to say this. I love to see developers show, instead of wasting time to build a vertical slice that actually shows like the visual upgrade, instead of doing that, like, this is the way the game looks right now, and I'm cool with that because we have to get out of this mode where we don't understand when they show us a game and the visuals look basic. That's because that's how they're building the game at that time. They're not making it look like super, with great with ray tracing all over the place and all the visual effects and all the added detail to the character models. Nah, they're working on the game. They're trying to get the gameplay right, the design, the physics, all that other stuff correct. They're not doing all that. I love to see the fact that they show some of that didn't have it look super pretty, because they're just being transparent with people. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. Shout out to Game Over Brian with the $2 super chat. Question: do you think Starfield is exclusive? Well, okay, let's get into the nitty gritty on what exclusive is. They announced it as a console exclusive for Xbox, but it will be available on everybody's second favorite platform, which is PC, outside of PlayStation when it comes to consoles. But when it comes to a secondary console, PC, it's where it's at, so it will be available there too. So it's not exclusive to per se, but they make sure they come out when they say now we have this whole console exclusive thing versus just being exclusive. So anybody that's miffed on that, that's exactly what's going on with Starfield. Sly Crow says, but Slow-Mo, you like aliens? ?
I replied to him in the chat. Horror movies are not scary to me. I was watching horror movies before I was 5 years old, which is that's don't do that to your children. That's not what you should be doing. But I'm desensitized to horror movies, especially since they're very formulaic. I can tell when
about to happen.
But I can tell what's about to happen before it happens. So I'm like mentally prepared for it, and then I also kind of don't care. Right? It's different when you're playing a game, because the jump scares and all kind of scary, crazy crap is like dependent upon me actually doing something. Me walking, into a trap, me walking around a corner and a jump scare happens, or what has been burned in my memory. Resident Evil 1, I'm walking down that hallway and the mutated dogs jump through the window. Wasn't prepared for that. I dropped my controller. I wasn't prepared. I don't want to do this. I'm good. I don't need to play any of these games ever. I'm good.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Brad with a $2 super chat. I work for Microsoft. Oh
Yeah,
Lord.
so many people are doing this today, man.
Oh my God. I thought I was the only Xbox and Microsoft employee on Twitter, but you know,
Oh man.
I guess Xbox to spread their wings a little bit. Shout out to One Bad Mother. He says, what up, Forte? I'm playing Demon Souls on that PS5 digital edition right now. Yo, shout out. So I was able to, shout out to, not go to my own horn, but people out here saying, no, hey, Forte, don't be looking out for people. So a person literally, like, Slow-Mo, I don't know if I told you this. I didn't tell you this. So a person walked into the store on Monday. No, was it Monday or Sunday? Sunday. And wanted to trade. He was like, yo, it was in a white garbage bag. It was like, yo, I want to trade this in. I was like, oh, okay, cool. What it says, it's a PS5.
Wait, a white garbage bag.
He had it in a white garbage bag. So I want to trade in this PS5. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, huh? I'm thinking like, wait a minute. This person must not know that you could literally turn around and sell this system right now on Facebook Marketplace for literally 2 times the amount of money I'm about to give them. But I'm not about to say nothing because I got a bunch of people out here that want to get a PS5. So I'm going to look out for one of them. So I'm just sitting there like, hey, we going to give you this. What did we end up giving? I think he got store credit for it. So it was $300. And he bought all Xbox currency for he was mad. I guess he was mad at his son. He had another PS5. He took it away and wanted to trade it in so he can get currency to kind of tell his kid that whatever he did, no, you're not going to have a PS5 and I don't approve of what you did. So I called Brap live on air. I just called his phone and he's literally doing a Brap rant. And I was like,
yeah, I actually heard that. Yeah.
I was like, oh, yo, I was like, just call it and say, I don't have OBM's number. So I was like, yo, I need you to reach out to OBM because I got this hotness for him. I need him to come up here and get this right now because this thing ain't gonna last through the day. So he calls him live on air. OBM ain't answer the phone. Shout out to the people, when you're trying to get a hold of them, they never answer. What is important, they never answer. It's always a never answer. But so needless to say, I DM'd him on Twitter and he reached out to me and he came up and got it. So he's playing Demon Souls right now, and I'm just happy that another person.
Can nobody say? Look? Shout out to Big Cloud, who been every time
slandering.
Big Cloud run into you, he got slander you for not helping people. But look, you out here helping people. Like OBM is getting a PlayStation 5, and now he can play Demon Souls for whatever reason if you wanted to. Stop. He can play Spider-Man Miles Morales at 60 frames per second with ray tracing on. He can play Returnal. He can play Ratchet and Clank. He can play, he can get caught up on some of these games that have been out, since last November, and that's great. So
I'm just happy. Yeah, I'm just happy.
You get your roses, sir. You definitely helped them out.
Well,
man.
it's not even that. I'm just happy that somebody that really truly wanted it got it. I know there's a lot of people out there that really truly want these systems, but unfortunately, you can't help everybody. But when you're in a situation to be able to get something for somebody that they really really want, it always feels great. And the funny thing is, I took that system in wrong. Like I took it in as I was so excited to just call OBM and them just say, hey, come get this system. I actually took it in as the wrong version. I took it in as a digital.
Close enough to you where he could actually just pick that up from you, right?
Yeah. He came. Yeah, he lives probably 15, 20 minutes from me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he just came up to the store and got it. But yeah, I actually was so excited. I took the system in wrong. I took it in as a disk drive one where it was a digital one. And actually ended up charging OBM too much money for it. He's like, yo, I think you owe me some money. I was like, why? What's up? And he said, this is a digital one. I was like, oh shoot. So he came up to the store. We got it taken care of. But yeah, man, it was an exciting day just to get that man a PlayStation. And I will always reach out to the community when I get them and stuff. Be like, yo, we got one. Anybody trying to get one? How can we do it? Stuff like that. But yeah, that was a cool thing. So shout out to him for actually getting in and enjoying, Demon Souls right now. But when it comes to Dead Space, for me, I'm a super fan. Like this goes back to when I was playing a whole bunch of different games all the time. It wasn't just one game that held all my attention. I'm with you kind of slow mo when it comes to the scary stuff. I really can't deal with it for the most part, but that game for some reason was like when I played it, I was jumping all over the place. It was so good, so riveting, going down hallways, just things that, you know, the dismemberment system that they had in the game, the story just kind of made me stick with it. And it was just something about the atmosphere. And that's the one thing I noticed in the demo that they showed is it's more than just the visual upgrade, it's the atmosphere upgrade, like the smoke and all of the haze and stuff that they put into the game to kind of make it feel more ominous and stuff. I think a lot of people are going to really truly, like, even if you never played this game, it's going to be something like, you know, whoa, this was really good. And I know a lot of people played like the Alien Isolation game. And that game is ridiculous, like crazy. It's not easy either. You know, it could get real frustrating because that alien AI can be kind of wonky, but it also could be really, really spot on and crazy. But I think that they're actually kind of leaning into that type of gameplay where, yeah, it's a third person perspective. You do have a weapon that you can use versus in Aliens Isolation, you have no weapon. Pause until you get to the end of the game. You do get some ways, but you can't kill the alien. Whereas in this game, you can. I think this is going to be something that's going to be very, very fruitful for EA. It is going to be running on Frostbite 3.0. So shout out to Dizzy. Rest in peace, brother, because I know you are an advocate. You are an advocate for that Frostbite engine, and I will. Anytime Frostbite come up, I will mention your name because I know Slow Mo misses you. But
of course, man. Of course, I miss our back and forth, man.
Yeah.
Those are great times, and you know, if Frostbite turns out to be an engine that doesn't, you know, force devs to go gray early trying to troubleshoot, then you know he'll definitely have his he'll definitely be in the right about that engine. I think it's still you know, a train wreck regardless of how pretty it looks now. So it is what it is. But no. Yeah, shout out to Dizzy. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, no, yeah, shout out to Dizzy. Okay, now this is a good question I want to ask you. One Bad Mother says he would argue that digital looks better too. So do you think digital games look better than their physical counterparts?
No, I think he's talking about the digital PlayStation 5 because we were
discussing
the digital.
Okay. Well,
yeah, because I said I would have preferred the digital instead of the physical because like it was $100 cheaper, and I'm a physical. I'm a digital gamer. Like every game I get is digital if I can help it. So like I definitely would not have cared for. The only time I've used the disc drive in this PS5 is because I got in my bundle, I got Miles Morales as a physical game. So that's the only time it's been used, and it has been used since then. And but as far as the looks, I think it looks slightly better. I mean, there's that bulge at the bottom, you know, pause for the physical PS5, but I mean, they're kind of the same.
Packing.
You know?
Packing, bro. It's packing.
Oh my, stop it.
It's packing. It's got more hardware than it can do with.
Oh my god, stop. We need to move on. This is going to devolve into all kinds of humor.
You're the one that said it's got a bulge, man. I'm just, going along with it.
I said pause, and I kept going, and you just went in.
People like a bulge.
You saw the
opportunity,
the opening, the opportunity, and said, "I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna go here for about 30 more seconds."
Yeah, so, you're right. Wouldn't be me
if I end up getting a second one, because my son is kind of like, he's got his Xbox Series S now, and he's always talking about Astro's Playroom. But now my PlayStation is in my office with me. If I can get my hands on a digital, I might get one for him. It depends. But I think I'll probably give him some motivation. I want to see his grades. If he I don't know. Let's see. If he gets like a 3.5 GPA, from now to the end of the semester, maybe I'll try to get him one for Christmas. You know, give him something to work hard for. I don't just want to give my kids stuff and they be spoiled.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna move on from this because I was gonna ask you a question because what just happened just asked a very interesting question in chat, and I was gonna relay that to you on what you think is what was the thing that you are more attracted to. But we're just gonna move on because that's like the not safe for work version of the game.
Okay, yeah, we need to move on. Let's
Yeah,
just keep going.
we gonna move on from that. PS5 has an OnlyFans account. It probably does. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah. So Dead Space, I'm super excited for what they're going to be doing, and I just can't wait for more information on that and stuff. Let's move over to another topic. It's not on the list and stuff, but it kind of ties into the PlayStation 5. I don't remember? Did we talk about the release date for Horizon being in February? Because I think they announced that over the weekend, didn't they? Like right after Gamescom.
I think so. I think
Yeah,
they announced it on Friday, so we
Friday.
haven't talked
Yeah.
about
So
that
what?
yet. But I mean, it's not like we didn't know this was going to happen.
Exactly.
Like, shout out to our buddy. Was it Jeff Grubb that said this initially?
Yep, Jeff Grubb did say it.
Jeff Grubb and then Jesse Schreier also said he had heard this as well. So, excuse me. These were things that we knew already. And unlike some people, I believe Jeff Grubb is a very good gaming journalist, and he's very good with the inside sources. He has sources, like, you know, a lot of the people out here in this community who pretend like they do and they don't. And he's been more right than wrong. So if he says this, and then I see someone else who also is super trusted with this stuff, and he says it too, I tend to believe it. And look, it was right. So yeah, Horizon Forbidden West is delayed to February next year, which is just fine with me. I got too many games to play. And frankly, I don't want them to rush and put a game out this year that's not ready. Because, and actually there was this whole little tweet thing going around Twitter today where people were talking about what features of a game is most important to them. So some people were like, gameplay is greater than story, which is greater than graphics. And or some people were saying, look, which I'm kind of baffled by, where they would say story greater than graphics greater than gameplay. I said performance greater than gameplay, greater than story, greater than graphics. Performance to me is that's my look. And I know some people are like, oh, slow mo, all you care about is having your MSI afterburner on and seeing your frames. And I'm like, well, I mean, like, I love to see that, but what's really important to me is not being pulled out of the gaming experience,
Right.
because of a bug or a frame rate issue or whatever. You know, that kind of stuff like really knocks me out of the enjoyment that I'm having. And you can have a game that has got like stellar gameplay, amazing gameplay, knockout visuals, and a story that's worthy of the box office. But if it plays like trash, what are you going to think about?
That's true.
You're going to be all you're going to be thinking about is how that poorly that game plays. And that's something that's like, it's one thing I think is super, super important. And yeah, I just that stuff's super important. What were we talking about? I feel like I'm just rambling.
You are, but it's fine. You are.
today.
we were just talking about Horizon at that point.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm like, delay the game, because the performance has got to be on par. And I think Sony's really good at, for the most part, because Returnal has some issues, which is the reason why I dropped Returnal, and Days Gone had a lot of issues. But I think that for the most part, the majority of their games are pretty much very stable and have minor bugs when they come out, and that's because they have a very lengthy post-production process where they're just polishing the game, getting it ready for launch. And I think that's super, super important for all game development. And if Forbidden West needs that, they need to be delayed to February to make sure that happens. Good, more power to them.
Right. Nope, I agree. And I think the biggest thing is just going to come down to As long as the game is good, as long as the game is good day one, no one cares about the delay. The delay doesn't matter
Right.
when the game comes
Right.
out day one and it works. And I think that's the one thing Sony has always been great at, is they don't, once they put a date on it for the second time, it's not really a chance for it to get delayed after that. That's kind of some of the issues I take with Halo being announced, and then the delaying content after the fact is because if you would have just gave it one date, knowing when all the stuff is going to be available, who cares if it's the holidays or not? And, the holidays is it as important as the game launching day one, working with all its components in place, but that's a story for another day, because I know
Hey,
it's very divisive in that.
what is your opinion on that? Like when it comes to gameplay, story, graphics, music, like any aspects of a game, what is your hierarchy of like most important to least important?
Gameplay number one. Well, I am performance first.
Okay.
Performance above everything, because if the game, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you play games like Destiny when it was 30 frames per second on console. Well, that was the only way you could play it, and as soon as I was able to exodus to PC, I did. And the only time I came to console to play it is when my friends, my fire team on console, wanted me to play with them. Other than that, I was playing on PC exclusively when that came to that game. I didn't come back 100% until it hit console. And it was just because performance means more than anything to me, because once you experience, and I think a lot of people are starting to see that now, 60 frames per second and a higher fidelity output when you're looking at your game.
They didn't get it. They didn't get it last gen.
They didn't get it last gen.
Like, yo, 60 frames. It's got to be 60 frames or bust. And people was like, you guys is so sick. You guys are so just, all you care about is your hardware, and all you care about is your frames, and you guys are so selfish and spoiled. There's nothing wrong with 30 frames per second. It's filmic. I love 30. 30 is just fine. As soon as they got them next gen consoles, I see all you guys that were saying that, you all changed your minds fast. Now I'm seeing tweets like, man, I can't go back to 30. Like, why even have a mode in your game on next gen consoles that's 30 frames per second? I see you.
Right.
I see you. Change your mind real quick. Like once you get a taste of it, you can't go back. 60 is difficult for me sometimes.
Yeah, it can be, especially if you're playing at 120 plus.
120 plus all the time. You go back to 60, you feel like you're running in molasses.
Yeah, you cut your frame rate in half. So that's always my number one. Then gameplay falls after that. Then after that it comes to story. And then after that it's it's kind of just take your pick at that point. Different things, different games have different things. If people ask me like what draws me to Destiny, the story was the reason I jumped in. It was also the reason I hated the game at first, because the story was non-existent.
Terrible. Yeah.
But the gameplay, but the performance was Bungie and their 30 seconds of fun, and that's the one thing people don't give them credit for. They always been very good at making a 30 frame per second game. Like, if you can make a 30 frame per second game that doesn't have hitches and drops all over the place, it kind of just makes it more bearable. But then when you get a chance to play it at an even higher resolution and fidelity, it's just magical at that point. So that's kind of where I fall on that. But when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to, that alien came out of nowhere. But when it comes to games like Horizon and God of War and stuff like that, it just ultimately just comes down to whenever the game is ready, it's ready. When it's good, it's good. And PlayStation, especially for us that only really play the exclusive games on PlayStation, those are the ones that we want to be those standout titles, because we don't buy as many games over there. And when we do spend our money over there, we expect that high quality. And I kind of think that's where a lot of people feel Xbox has always been struggling with, and they feel like we don't hold that same type of we don't hold them to that same type of standard, which I think we do. The standard's a lot lower for Xbox due to the situation they're coming from when it comes to their first party offerings. But
well, maybe for you, I think I have.
No, I'm not talking about for me. I have the standard, but I think a lot of people they don't.
to meet the standard of the competition. Whether people feel like they are incapable of doing that or not, that's the standard I have for them, and that's the standard that I will continue to have, which is the kind of reason, like the whole narrative of, well, when games are being released unfinished, and it's like, oh, well, what do you expect as Game Pass? Well, what I expect is a finished game.
A finished game, right?
They didn't market Game Pass as the beta station or the beta the beta
station.
service. They didn't market it like that. They marketed it as complete quality games for $10 to $15 a month. That's how they marketed it. I'm gonna hold them to that standard and that responsibility, and hopefully they reach that. I forgot what I was about to say, though. I was about to say something else about something you were saying, but it's fine. We can keep moving.
Yeah, you cool. So PlayStation redesign. So I know did you see the Austin Evans breakdown of the redesign? Did you actually watch the video?
I watched. You know what? I watched part of it.
Or did you see the cliff notes?
The full thing. I saw the cliff notes. I know that he used allegedly used an iPhone thermal sensor to test the exhaust of the PlayStation or something like that, which is like, that doesn't. If that's what he did, that does not like mean that the PlayStation is actually hotter. Which if that's what he did, that doesn't mean that. It could be strictly that it's expelling more heat out. Is actually could be more efficient. We don't know for certain. I think that I would rather wait until Steve from Gamer Nexus actually does a breakdown, because he's going to do it. He's going to get into it, because that's the kind of stuff that they do at Gamer Nexus on that channel. And they did a breakdown of a teardown of the cooling of the original model of the PlayStation 5, the launch one too. So I can see them definitely doing a comparison at some point. But I tweeted out about this, because even with what Austin was proposing, it's still not a big deal.
Right.
Like 3 to 6 degrees Celsius is not breaking anything. 3 to 6 degrees Celsius isn't meaning that your PlayStation 5 is going to be performing worse in 2 or 3 years. No. Like I can tell when it's just people don't really know anything about like the stuff that they're talking about, and they get into these narratives and stuff like that, because it's like, when it comes to say like my PC, my CPU and my GPU, they have, if I went to the webpage that Intel and Nvidia have for my particular chips, they would say, well, my CPU and my GPU, they would tell me what the maximum temperature threshold is. Now, that's the max temperature before things start to get hairy, where potentially my entire system could shut down in order to try to protect the components, or I'm severely damaging the lifespan of my parts. And like, that's like at like 93 degrees Celsius. Like, did Austin Evans know what the max temperature threshold is for the PS5? Has he got that information from Sony or like anyone? Like, this is information that we don't know. Right. And so I'm not saying that like he's completely wrong. I think he's probably just wrong, but there's not enough information there to even come to like the kind of conclusion he came to, honestly. So it's like, it's not that big a deal. I don't think anyone needs to be concerned about, like, let's say if you still haven't got a PlayStation 5 yet, and you're thinking like, oh man, I need to go get the launch one instead of the current one that they're just building. Like, no, don't worry about that. You're good. Like, just get the PlayStation 5 and enjoy your games. This isn't going to be a big deal. It's not going to be a huge issue. You 3 to 6 degrees difference isn't killing anybody. And again, that was the exhaust. Like that's not actually testing the actual temperature of the APU that's inside the PS5. That's not getting the actual temperature from the actual sensors around the PS5 or where the SSD is or any of that stuff. So it's just like it's not that big a deal. It's kind of
Yeah,
overblown I think it's overblown on both sides of the argument.
yeah. Rodimus says Austin was running Astro's Playroom and it was displaying more heat.
Because it was under full load. Like that's a difference between it sitting idle and then playing a game. If he would have played any game, it would have expelled more heat because now it's actually being stressed. Like that's no different for the Series X. That's no different from a Nintendo Switch. There's no different from our PCs or any kind of your laptop. If you start running a bunch of stuff or doing something in it, it's going to expel more heat because it's now doing more work. That's all that is. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know it makes your head hurt a little bit. I mean, it's all fanboy stuff. People that want the PlayStation to have an issue, they're going to say, yeah, look, the PlayStation's having issues. And people that want to defend it, they're going to say, yo, no, there's a bunch of people out there that say this isn't right. And there's only one scenario that actually comes down to this. I just go back to the situation where, okay, so if people think it's gonna, if they want to go out and say, well, I want to buy the original system versus the newer one because it might overheat. Well, do you remember that the new system had issues too? I mean, people had systems that bricked on them. It didn't work. It just comes down to no matter what system you buy, you're going to have some type of, failure rate that's going to be built into the system. That doesn't mean that this is going to be an issue in the future at all. I have a graphics card that can teeter at 70 Celsius and stuff on the heatsink and stuff. And does that mean that it's going to burn up inside of my case? No, it just means it has an acceptable threshold that it actually operates at. And people don't really know what the PlayStation 5 one was. I think it's just a lot of doom and gloom when it comes to like people talking about the heat sink and stuff when it comes to putting in a SSD internally into it, how that can add to the heat threshold and stuff. But that stuff hasn't been really truly tested and stuff like that. I just think at a certain point, wait for the people that test this stuff on a day-to-day basis and know exactly what they're talking about. A lot of people are just upset that Austin Evans is a person with 6.6 something million subscribers, and they feel like he's giving out a lot of bad information to people, which he could be. Who knows? I don't know the intricacy of the testing that he did to actually do this. We just saw what he did on screen. And you basically, that's what kind of people are taking for gospel at this point. So me personally, I don't listen to anything anybody has to say until Gamer Nexus comes out and talks about it, because he does thorough Yeah.
His gamer, like Steve with Gamer, the whole team there at Gamer Nexus does a stellar job.
They break
breaking things down. And they have debunked things that companies have said. They have debunked false marketing and false advertising in the company. I specifically recall a CPU cooler manufacturer claiming that they had like a proprietary design on the heat pipes of their air coolers that determined why this was the best air cooler you can get on the market. And they actually got one, cut that thing open, was like, none of the things that they said, there's no ridges here in the heat pipes or anything. And by the way, before we opened this thing up, we went and tested it out, and it's just an average CPU cooler. It's still no better than Noctua or any of the other best coolers. And I just laughed because like they forced them to make a statement. They also went after, was it NZXT for selling a case that was setting on fire, and trying to deny it. They also, and they proved it. They showed it with testing how the case would get set on fire. They currently are going after Gigabit, who has a power supply that explodes. And so it's just like they're on point with that stuff. That's why they're really, really good at it. Yeah, man. Just wait for more data, man. People always want to jump on something as soon as they see it and say, "Oh, look!" Just like it's this whole console war nonsense. Like, wait for more information, and then make your decisions. Or in fact, you really can't make a decision on facts. It's like just wait for more information before you start jumping out there and looking silly. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, and shout out to Erodimus. He put a Eurogamer article in the chat. Shout out to him. That basically goes over what they said, and a lot of people. I haven't read it yet, but a lot of people are saying that it debunks what Austin Evans said. But honestly, let's be for real. It's Austin Evans. The man
Yeah.
ain't got a PhD and taking the system apart and giving you the most accurate thing when it comes to. Listen, he was probably one of the first few people that got his hands on the new version 2 of the system, and he did a breakdown of the first one.
Ordered it in from Japan, I think.
Yeah,
so they were definitely like they couldn't wait to get their hands.
Oh
on
yeah, they
this.
couldn't wait. So this was an opportunity for his channel to put information out there. And let's be for real. Now the thing is that people aren't really giving credit to is the fact that it's not like he lied in his review. It may be misinformed and exactly what's going to be happening with the system, but he literally showed you that one version of the system was running hotter than the other. So it wasn't like he lied and said like, oh my God, this and that. But I do believe that the information that he gave out at the end, basically people telling people to kind of worry about the situation, that probably was something.
He said one is worse than the other. That's something that I don't believe at all, based upon the information that he provided,
right?
Or in the testing that he did. You can't come to that conclusion with that.
You can easily say that one has better heat. I mean, you can say that one runs cooler than the other, but that doesn't mean that the new one is going to be a detriment to its internal components and stuff. Because, like a lot of people said in different live streams and then in their videos, and they talked about this, the exhaust is most likely doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's dispelling heat at a faster and greater rate, meaning the heat that it's dispelling is going to be a little bit hotter than it was doing before, and that just means it's doing its job better. And that's why when you see Steve over at Gamer Nexus, when they did their breakdown of the components, and remember they talked about how the RAM components were running noticeably really hot, and he talked about that in his video. But that's because they had probes directly hooked up to the modules inside the system, so they're not measuring.
They were very thorough. Extremely thorough.
They were not measuring the heat coming out of a vent. They were literally hooked up directly to the RAM, to the die, as good as they could possibly get it, and measuring it that way. And that's why I didn't really look into this.
People on the other side of this, the whole console war stuff, were upset at Steve at Gamer Nexus because he was concerned with one of the modules. He said that like the temps for one of them was he thought way too high.
Like way higher than the other ones.
Yeah, and he thought that was like something to be concerned of in the future, but nothing to be concerned of at that moment. Right. And people got upset at that. But look, you can't argue with data, and he actually showed everyone how they did it and how they came to their conclusions, and it was very, very extensive. So I fully expect to see something like that from them, and comparing their data from the launch PS5 to the new model as well. We got a super chat from the homie After His Passion. Shout out to him with the $10 super chat. He says, how big was the bag that Sony dropped off at DPS headquarters? I wish we got a bag, man. Because if we would have got a bag from Sony, man, I'll be out here telling you guys about how Destruction All Stars is a sleeper hit.
Yep.
I'll be out here telling you guys about how Returnal was better than Hades. I'll be telling you about how Days Gone was it was treated unfairly by reviewers, if I got the bag, but I ain't getting no bag.
Telling you how Last of Us story actually made sense.
So there'll be no cap. There'll be no cap. I didn't get it. No, the story for Last of Us made sense.
I'm talking about the direction of Last of Us Part 2. There was nothing wrong with
I
that story. That story was great.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind the direction with the game. Oh, my only issue with The Last of Us 2 stories, I thought that the story pacing could have been
Oh, that's what
improved.
I'm talking
But I
about.
mean,
10 hours. It was 10 hours too long, in my opinion, at least. Maybe
mm,
maybe 6 to 6, maybe 5 to 6 hours too long. Some of that could have been cut out.
I can see that. I think my issue, my only real issue with the story was I thought that the way they paced the story in Seattle
Yeah.
was not good. Everything else I was kind of really fine with. I can understand some people being upset with how Joel went out, like how he fell into the trap. But um, my real issue is the fact that I thought that having it go 3 days with Ellie and then 3 days with Abby was a bad decision because they really, I think, adversely affected Abby's playthrough, where you're looking at these love triangles with
Yeah.
characters and Abby's conversations with her friends, and you know they're all dead. And so it's
Right.
just like, this is like, it didn't have the same impact that it would have had if you would have did, say, first day with Ellie, day one Ellie in Seattle, then
Right.
day one Abby in Seattle. And so it kind of builds up like the tension. And then when Ellie, spoilers for people who haven't played, if you haven't played the game yet, you this is your decision, so sorry. um but like when Ellie takes out one of Abby's friends, you know a little bit more about that person instead of that person just being some random person that was there when Joel got capped.
Right.
You actually know a little bit more about them, and it means more, especially by day 3, when like characters that were getting a ton of dialogue, a ton of drama all around them were dying. Then like the impact is really stronger then. And but like I just thought it kind of fell flat on Abby's side when you're seeing the same stuff over again. You're seeing the people alive that you know, well, you're gonna die in like 2 hours, you know.
Yeah. No, I think that was the biggest thing for me. Like, story was great. I love the story. Questionable ways that they handled certain characters, but was it terrible? No, I just kind of didn't agree with it. I just think there was like 5 to 6 hours that
I just want to
definitely.
acknowledge that you let me, you almost let me die so you could pick up Beta.
I did.
The-
I did. I did. Beta, I need you where you can't aim and you throw grenades at random things on the ground. Oh man, it was funny. But no, I agree with that. But listen, me and Slow-Mo, like I probably have more of a so-called of allegiance to a console than Slow-Mo does. He's definitely more rounded than I am when it comes to that. I prefer all consoles. I mean, I prefer Xbox, but I own all of them because I enjoy all of them. And that doesn't mean that we can't be critical of certain things. I don't think Sony did anything malicious when it came to this. I think it's more of a, if people are going to be mad at them for saving money, because they did announce that they are making a profit on these PlayStation, especially the physical version. They are making a profit on them.
Decision.
It's a
It's
business. It's a business decision.
Yeah.
And guess what? The system, I don't think would. I mean, listen, if they have an overheating issue and that it does become an issue, then people are gonna, they're gonna let Sony know about that. But as of right now, I just think that this is a move that they needed to do to cut the cost and probably to manufacture more systems out there. Because if they got less cost, that means they could probably add more to the actual assembly process of getting these systems out to more people. And but if you're,
It actually increases production of the PlayStation 5 at all,
it does.
because I mean, okay, so this is why I don't think it increases production of PlayStation 5s, because the bottleneck on getting more systems
Is the
out
CPU.
is the APU. It's the APU that TMSC is making,
That's true.
that was designed by AMD. You know, changing your heatsink in the Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi in there isn't changing the fact that that APU isn't getting produced any faster.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, I mean, they're saving money in the sense that like maybe like the heatsink that they are putting in there costs a little bit less doesn't mean it's less. It performs worse, but but that's the possibility, right?
Yeah.
Clearly, I think they weighed it, and it was like it's 300 grams lighter than the original. So, I mean, if that all comes together, if like shipping, if that's the issue for shipping, like, hey, we're these in bulk are less being shipped, and they weigh less being shipped, therefore we're spending less. Cool. We don't know all the logistics to how the cost of manufacturing is for Sony when it comes to PlayStation 5, but it's I don't think just because they're producing these cheaper that means they can produce more, because like I said, the bottleneck is definitely the APU.
Right.
And
So
yeah.
no, so yeah, so we definitely kill it. And I agree with you. Not thinking about it, I just think in general, since they're saving more money, they can reinvest that money into getting more consoles out there. But until you get this whole APU situation under control, it's basically going to be a body without a computer sitting inside of it, and it doesn't matter that
Just waiting for something waiting somebody to plop that thing in there. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's still not going to change the fact on that. I do have one bonus topic for you. It's something I was just actually thinking about as we were talking in this conversation earlier today. So 2K, they dropped their brand new NBA 2K22 trailer either today or yesterday, and it looks good. It looks really good. My question for you is, what do you think? Do you think that cars, like showing off racing games, are still the number one way of showing off the fidelity and the graphical prowess of these next gen systems? Or do you think sports games have kind of taken that over due to what we have seen from 2K and everything going forward?
It might be sports games, because you can see like there's more of diminishing returns going on with racing games than sports games. Like I remember seeing the difference between the 2K21 NBA 2K21 on the last gen consoles compared to the current gen consoles, and it was like wow, like that's oh man, like you can see like as far as the visual fidelity and the realism and the way the players look on the screen. I thought it showed the differences there when it comes to racing games. Like take Forza Horizon 5 compared to Forza Horizon 4. Forza Horizon 5 absolutely looks better than Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah.
But when I look at, like, because I actually been playing Forza Horizon 4 with a friend of mine recently. He's just getting into it. I'm kind of like, I got it reinstalled now on my PC, and I'm looking at Forza Horizon 4, and where I really see the major difference is like in environments. And the environment of Mexico has way more realism and detail than the environment of in England, in the UK, in Forza Horizon 4. The cars look roughly the same. Like there's no more detail with the cars. All of the extras really come from everything else that's going on around it that makes it look, breathtaking. And I think when it comes to the 2K games, there's so much more like animation of the characters, sweat on their bodies, and not cutscene stuff, but like in the game. Like I think that stuff is where you could really show like the advancements and the differences between last gen and current gen. But yeah.
No,
I don't play 2K, so
well, yeah, no,
I don't know how much it really is, how much of a difference it really is.
well, the biggest thing for me is like I was staunch on Forza Horizon 5 being one of the best looking games I've ever seen, because of, especially with the HD visuals that they did with the new camera systems and everything. When they show that game and you see the environment, like I think the cars look good, but they have stepped it up dramatically in the way that they captured the environments, and they look photorealistic. But then when I saw this trailer, and anybody that hasn't seen it is on the screen right now, I guess it's just something, because it's something that you see, like, especially if you watch the game or just in general peruse ESPN and see some of the highlights and stuff, it's like
Mhm.
I guess it's the expressions, the how animated it is. It's like something. It's like can you relate to a Bugatti going down a street at 200 miles an hour and hitting a curve at just the right angle to hit its apex to make sure it hits that turn and comes out of it as fast as it went into it? You probably can if you're one of those people that rich enough to own one, but everybody can see players on a court and just look at the inspiration that the game kind of takes from it. And I'm just thinking of all, not all sports games, mostly just the 2K franchise. They step it up when it comes to those next gen visuals. They did it when it came to the Xbox One X version of the game and the PS4 Pro. When we came from 360 over to Xbox One, you saw that same jump in fidelity. And this is just another step. And I am a huge fan of 2K. I think they do magic when it comes to their overall performance in the game and stuff. Not the performance per se, but just the way that the presentation of the game, I should say. Now when it comes to VC, that's a whole nother thing because they got a cash cow over there, and they're gonna milk people. And trust me, in a week from this Friday, there will be a bunch of people out here buying 2K. But honestly, guys, that's all we got for you guys. It's been an amazing show. Slow-mo. First of all, I know you've been busy on your 30th run of Hades. So what's the
53rd run?
53rd run of Hades. And first, I do want to ask you this: you're playing on Game Pass? Are you gonna? Is this one of those? I know you're not a big achievement person, but is this a game you see yourself going? Just go ahead, just knocking out the full 1,000 and getting on it.
No, and here's the only time I've really cared to do that is when I was so close, just based off of just playing the game, that it was only like get 2 or 3 more trophies and you get the platinum. It's like or right now with the Division 1, like as many hours as I've sunken into the Division 1, I don't have the 100% on the Division and achievements for that on Xbox. But I was just looking at my profile, so I was at 97%. And I was like, wait a minute, there's only one achievement I don't have, and I went and saw what the achievement was, and it was getting extracting 100 caches out of the Division Dark Zone for in survival mode, which is extreme. It's not easy, going through all that and making it out and extracting everything. And I'm currently at like 88 out of 100. So I'm like, all I need is 12 more. That's when I'm kind of like, all right, well, let me go ahead and reinstall the game and knock that out. And I'm close. Like, I think I will probably stream myself when I get down to just 5 left. I'll probably stream myself getting that last 5 and getting that achievement, and then probably uninstall the Division 1 forever.
Yeah.
At that point. But like if I'm close, I'll go ahead and do it. Otherwise, I do not care. I hate getting achievements or trophies and the actual trophy, something so random. It's like, go all the way to the edge of the world and jump off the cliff. Like, what? Why would I do that? There are literally achievements and trophies where you wouldn't know it's something to do unless you actually looked it up.
Right.
And then people actually go out and choose to do it. And look, I'm not knocking someone's fun. Some people find that to be fun. There are achievement hunters and trophy hunters and people who they love doing that in games, and getting that 100% or that platinum is everything to them. It's just, to me, that's not fun. Right. So when I go play games, I go play games to have fun. I've got a gazillion hours in Borderlands 2, and I didn't 100% that.
Yeah,
I don't care to.
Yeah, I agree too. And then Sly Crow said, and I agree with this. 2K better have that next gen patch on PC. Why do you? Because they haven't. Why do you think they haven't done that substantial upgrade to the PC version, which is vastly more powerful in most cases than the current systems that we have, especially if you have a higher
Because
end
they
one.
couldn't just because they knew PC gamers wouldn't pay extra for it.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because they are charging $70 for that version of the game. You're right. That is true.
They know PC gamers will not pay extra for it, so therefore, no, they're not going to do it.
So they're just going to be one of those, compared to Rockstar, where they'll just give you the free update, or Bethesda, when it came to Skyrim, for the most part, they gave you the update. 2K's not built like that, huh?
Yeah. That's basically it. They just like, hey, look, if we know they're not going to pay more, and so let's not even bother. Let's not even bother working on it and charging it. So it is what it is.
Oh, One Bad Mother said he hasn't bought a sports game in years. He might bite with 2K this year. I'm trying to tell people, man, it's something about, especially when there's a low in games, especially if you're on certain platforms like PlayStation doesn't really, all their games that are their big games going forward aren't coming out till next year. So I can, especially with them, I think they got the marketing rights for 2K over on PlayStation. I can see it definitely. It does well everywhere it goes, but it's probably going to do even more well over there due to it not being a marquee game other than Call of Duty coming out on that system this year. But I see a lot of people jumping in because it's a looker, and we know how PlayStation fans are about games looking, and this game looks the part. And it just comes down to that's something that you're into when it comes to sports games. But like I was saying, Slow-Mo, I appreciate you doing the show today just so we can get it in the books for this week. Please, and everything that they can look forward to.
As I mentioned earlier in the show, I am working on a couple of videos, and those I expect to have at least one of those out this week. I know I've said this before and then didn't release anything. So look, just bear with me. I'm working on it. But otherwise, do check out my YouTube channel, Slow-Mo Backslap. Please sub to the channel if you haven't already. DPS podcast will be on my channel next week. We might have a special guest. I've been kind of talking to someone. I need to, of course, discuss it with Forte first before we officially invite someone in. So we'll see what happens. And also check out my Twitch channel that I've been doing a lot of streaming. I play a lot of games, and I play a lot of different games, and I just decided, hey, why don't I stream that and just talk with some people and have fun while I do that. So that's been what's going. Excuse me, my voice just cracked. That's what's been going on, and I'm probably going to get back to Psychonauts 2. Probably do some more Hades streaming as well. I think, and I just saw what just happens comment about not being able to beat the Bone Hydra, and I kind of feel like I might need to do a video on that about how to do that. I think you
should, man. That's
because I can beat Bone Hydra in my sleep. I mean, it's not even. I have a couple runs where I didn't even get hit by Bone Hydra. Yeah. I didn't even take a single hit. So I think it's I think that might be something to do in the future. But even if not, I could just stream myself playing it, and people can see, in real time me beat them. It's I just love Hades. Hades is awesome. But yeah, that's check out the channel, Slow-Mo Backslap Twitch channel. It's the same name as you see on screen right now. Forte, excellent job hosting tonight. I hope everything works out with the family over the next week or so. But yeah, great job, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man, and appreciate Slyco with the comments saying good show, like the topics. Yeah, we digging through the barrel because nothing really happened over the last couple of days, so we had to dig into last week. But the great thing is all that stuff happened on Friday, so we were able to talk about it on the show today. Appreciate I think it was like 58 that we got up to today. Appreciate you guys coming through for the impromptu stream. And we always appreciate all the support you guys bring. Make sure you hit the like button, sub to the channel, both our channels, and share this on social media. We'll be putting out a tweet over the next couple of days, because Thursday a lot of people are probably going to be looking for the channel and looking for the stream, just to remind them that it already happened and they can check it out video or audio wise on Thursday too. So for myself, you're already on the channel, so you already know where to like and subscribe. Got a couple videos coming out. Been working on another video about Xbox Game Pass and stuff like that. Just things that's coming to the service and things that I'm looking forward to. Talking about Halo Infinite and the situation around that. So be on the lookout for that stuff. So I really appreciate you guys, and you guys have a great gaming week, because the weekend is pretty far away. School's starting up for a lot of people's kids this week and next week, so make sure you guys are being safe and very cautious out there when it comes to your kids' health and everything. And just remember that COVID's a thing, and we definitely want to see everybody make it through this. And make sure you take care of yourselves over the course of the next couple of weeks. Other than that, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you on the next DPS podcast next week on Slow Mo's channel.
Peace.